What I'm doing on this job is I'm actually going to round these off angles. Instead of just putting a tape in there and getting a nice straight edge that's, just tapers out in each direction, I'm going to do a technique where I actually round this. I'm going to create a nice little round edge just with joint compound and tape. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-fill these gaps and get a little bit of a radius going before I even put the tape on. This is what I'm talking about by getting a little bit of roundness in and pre-filling at the same time. I just take my 6-inch knife and I just go in one direction, just pulling the knife. And then I go in the opposite direction with the knife. And you can see how that's automatically leaving a little bit of roundness in that corner. I'm actually using a setting compound. And then once it sets up, I'm going to put some fiberglass mesh tape over it. And then embed that and continue to round it and using the same method that I just used here. Okay, what I've done now is I've actually put some of this extra strength fiber tape. It's a little wider than most fiber tapes, then it's actually a little stronger. And I just pushed it right into the corner. You can already get a little feel for the roundness. Get it up here. This is a difficult little crooked corner down here, but I think it's going to end up looking pretty sharp. So now I'm going to coat this with a coat of all-purpose joint compound to start, or for the next step in getting this corner a nice round inside corner. Okay, so I've got some compound on the one edge. All I'm doing is taking my taping knife and pushing some compound in so I have a little bit on each side. I'm just going to widen that out a little bit more and putting some compound right along this edge. So now you can see I have the center pretty filled and I've got it about 4 inches wide around the edges. And then I'm just taking my taping knife and just pulling it along. Just pull it along like that. And you can see it's creating some roundness. Filling that center in really nice. Okay, so far I've done all the work with my 6-inch taping knife. A minute ago I pulled down with the knife, my 6-inch, but now I'm introducing the 12-inch taping knife. And I'm going to go in the opposite direction. In other words, I'm going to just slightly pull up with the knife. And that's really not looking too bad. You see I got a nice rounded in the middle. And the trick was, I switched directions. The first time with my 6-inch knife, I went down. Next time I went up. Now tomorrow when this is dry, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go up with the first smoothing out motion and then down for my finished coat. The other day, we applied basically the first coat over this inside corner, this off angle here. What I'm trying to do is round it, so I've already got it pretty round. But I did end up putting a pretty heavy coat of joint compound in the middle. So today I'm going to start the second coat basically. There'll probably be 2 more coats. It's quite a time-consuming process. So today I'm using a lightweight compound. And I'm just going to use my 6-inch knife and apply another layer of joint compound to each side. I'm widening it out just a little bit. So I'm going to put it to the outside edges first. Then I'm just going to fill right into that corner. haven't done this for quite a few years, and I just did another corner in this room, and what I found it was kind of necessary to do was to actually get right into that corner with the compound. It made it easier to get it smooth, so that's what I'm going to do. Just put a little right into that corner. Okay, what I did earlier, the last coat the way I applied it was, I went with my 6-inch knife down, and then I used my 12-inch knife, and I went back up in the opposite direction. So today I'm going to do just the opposite of that. I'm going to go down with this knife, now I'm just going to take the knife and just go back up the ceiling. I do have a tool mark on each edge of this knife, but that's nothing to worry about. If I have a little spot like I do right here, or I have a little bubble, I can just go over it again. Go up and then back down. And before I leave it, I'm going to feather this bottom edge in a little bit. Get that tapered out. Same thing on the top. So that's looking pretty good. What I'm going to do now is put the final coat over this inside corner, I hope. What I'm trying to address today is I just have a little bit of tool marks, but today I'm just going to put a very thin layer on here to smooth this out. But my other concern is to blend this outside edge in, and even on the ceiling here, to blend this into this other seam. So I'm going to put a thin coat in the center and blend the edges in. Compound is on. Let's just see what happens here. I'm gonna feather that edge in. Do the same thing on the top. I definitely have more compound in the middle than I need. Let's see what happens. I'm just gonna remove it all. Today, all I'm trying to do is fill in the little bit of imperfections that I still have there. I left a little more than I wanted to, but now I'm just going to go in the opposite direction with my knife. And just smooth it right in and get rid of all those tool marks. I really like that. Now I'm going to just cut this bottom edge in again. And look at it, I like the way it's tapered in, so that's going to be good. So this is a technique that I do for an older house like this. This is originally how it was. We're just trying to match it. It's not something everybody's gonna do, but this is something I used for years before they had all the special tapes made for these off-angle inside corners. It's a little bit time consuming, but the results really come out nice. Here's a finished shot of that rounded off angle, all painted. Looking real nice.